This was probably the best episode of this season. So we start off the episode with where we left off on the last. And that's the gang open up the portal to that pocket dimension. But before they do that, we have some of the best comedy that they have done in this show so far. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Vigilante. I love this character. This dude is just absolute hilariousness incarnate. He could truly be DC's Deadpool. It's one of the greatest compliments I can give. So we see our group of misfits finally make it over to the other dimension, and they're all debating on what to do at this point. Economist doesn't even want to be there. Vigilante wants to go find that other version of himself, and Ads and Amelia are the only sensible ones where they want to go find Chris and bring him back to there. So as they're having this discussion, Roy 2.0 interrupts them, and everyone scurries and hides except for Amelia, who he was just with in the beginning of the episode, in the opener. And some hilarious comedy ensues from this. Man, I love the comedy in this show. It's so fast, it's so effective, and it's so funny. You really gotta just pay attention to what they're saying because it goes by so fast. So Vigilante goes off to find himself. Well, not in a philosophical way, more in like a literal way. Keith takes Hardcore to go to Argus to meet up with Chris. And Ads and Economist don't really have much to do for this episode. They kind of just stand around in the kitchen and talk a little bit for a few times you see them. So right away, as Hardcore gets to Argus, a guard dog smells coke on her. And not the kind of coke you drink. And as she's being detained and taken over for questioning, who comes walking through? Right behind her, John Cena. And he instantly makes eye contact with her and knows immediately what's going on. So while we get some major drama, we get some pretty comedic levity too, where Vigilante goes back to his house and is pointing out the little differences in there, in the yard, in the living room. He goes down to the basement, goes and finds that version of himself. He actually finds him, and they pull the Spider-Man meme, which was just absolutely hilarious. But also mind-blowing, like, okay, wait, so Spider-Man exists in this universe? How does that work? Then again, they reference Superman in Eternals. So, Spider-Man exists in DC, Superman exists in Marvel. How does that work? So we saw Rick Flag earlier trying to make a plan of how to get this little pocket dimension suitcase thing back. He's lost track of Harcourt. He's lost track of Economist. So he had an idea. Go to a prison where he can meet up with someone. Who that someone is? It was Lex Luthor. Like, wow, I was not expecting him to be in this show at all. That was crazy to see. I thought Nicholas Hoult was the best interpretation of Superman that we've gotten on screen yet. So Flag makes him a deal. Hey, you get me a tracker, I'll get you out of this prison with no metas. So the two make a deal, and honestly, a deal between those two, interactions between those two, I'm excited to see. That sounds pretty interesting, honestly. So we finally get a really intense, real heart-to-heart argument, conversation with Amelia and Chris. Finally just acknowledging everything that they've been through together. And man, it hits hard. It hits hard at the heartstrings. These two are acting their asses off. It's a great scene. It was just locked in the entire time. And after the greatness that we just had between those two, we get back to the goofiness of Adrian. Adrian 1 and Adrian 2 are having a conversation going back and forth, just rattling off questions to each other, and they have the same answers every time. And the first question right away is, who is their favorite Pokemon? They both answer Infernape. My man. That is my favorite Pokemon too. I love Infernape, and I love the fact that my favorite character has my favorite Pokemon too. So this is where we end the episode. And the episode ends on some major drama on all ends. Vigilante 1 finds out Vigilante 2 hates Peacemaker, which pisses him off. Economos has his hand stabbed by Chris's dad. And that dimension's Harcourt runs into Chris and Amelia. So we find out the inevitable of the worlds are going to collide. And we find out that this version of this world has been taken over by Nazis. So we have a crazy Arrowverse connection. Is this Earth X? Because if so, that's just absolutely crazy. And the neighborhood sees Ads, who's a black lady, and they chase her down trying to capture her. Oh my god, that's where the episode ends? I cannot wait for next week. That was a mind-blowing ending. So much happened at once, and now the reveal that this is more than likely Earth X from the Arrowverse, from the DC multiverse, that's just crazy. And I love that crossover in the Arrowverse of Crisis on Earth X. That was a great one. That was a really fun one. It's so different. It's so unique. This episode was just bonkers, honestly. This was probably the best episode of the season so far. And man, we only have 2 episodes left of this season so far. Man, I hope that they do more with Peacemaker going forward with the DCU. Why does this show have to end? It's so good. There was so much happening. I'm still thinking about it. It was just a crazy episode. What did you think about the episode? Let me know in the comments below. Stay safe, stay sexy.